Everyone loves watching all the amazing episodes of Peppa Pig.
Wow!
But have you ever noticed how many things just don't make sense in the world of the pink little pig? Let's start by trying to understand more about the most famous character in Peppa's universe, Super Potato. He is loved by Peppa and all her friends, and his show is very popular. Fruits and vegetables keep us alive. Remember to eat 5 of them. That's the song this character sings on his show. These are really good recommendations. It's important to maintain a balanced diet. However, in Peppa's universe, things are not like our world. After all, the protagonist of the series is a talking pig, right? And Super Potato is literally a talking tuber. So it's really weird that the character who recommends children eat fruits and vegetables is a potato, meaning he's also a vegetable. Moreover, in the character's theme song, the carrot shown is also alive. So, should the kids eat the vegetables or be friends with them? That makes no sense! And there are many more things in this animation that are strange and mysterious, and you'll notice all of that now. So join in, because another Cinewave is starting. A potato recommending children eat vegetables is hard to explain, but the nonsensical situations in Peppa's world don't stop there. As everyone knows, all the residents of Peppa's town are animals who live like humans, except for characters like Super Potato, who is a vegetable, and a few humans who have appeared in the show like the Queen, the Pirate, and Santa Claus. So everyone understands that animals aren't domesticated or kept in cages like in our world. However, there is an episode in the series where Peppa and her classmates go on a very strange field trip. Guess the destination. That's right, a zoo. It might seem like a normal trip, and many children and adults really visit zoos. But you need to remember that in this world, animals have houses, jobs, they study, they do everything humans do. So what happens in this episode is that free animals go to the zoo to see other animals that live in captivity. That doesn't make sense. Are these animals imprisoned in some kind of jail that only exists in this universe? Or are some species not allowed to live with others and therefore don't have the right to freedom? Man, all of this is so strange. And since we mentioned a few human characters, another mystery of this universe comes to mind. Where are the other people? We already know that 3 of them, for some reason, exist in Peppa's world. So this raises the possibility that maybe humans are afraid of animals, because in this world, they have evolved, becoming stronger and smarter than humans. Thus, there was an animal revolution, and all humans were expelled from that world. Of course, there's the possibility that humans weren't expelled but eliminated by the animals, but we know Peppa and her family wouldn't do that, right? Another thing that makes no sense in Peppa Pig is how the animals interact with each other. We constantly see various residents of Peppa's town living in society, going to shops, or doing services for each other. Everything seems fine, and they appear to be friends. But is that really the case? In the very episode of the zoo we just talked about, Madame Gazelle is all excited taking the kids on the trip. However, as soon as they reach the zoo's entrance, the guard is a lion, and when he appears, you can see that Madame Gazelle is startled. Just look at her panic-stricken face. If it were normal for a gazelle and a lion to be together, there would be no reason for her to be that scared, right? And poor Madame Gazelle doesn't get a moment's peace because just as she relaxes a little and tries to enjoy the trip, she gets startled again when a crocodile guard emerges straight from the water. And the weird things don't stop there. The children get excited to see the next animals at the zoo, and Peppa points to a giraffe, thinking it's the next attraction. But in fact, he's another zoo employee, and Gerald, his son, is on the field trip with Peppa. So, man, all of this is way too confusing. If you also love Peppa and are enjoying the video so far, comment #pink down below in the comments in honor of the little piggy. Talking about this zoo visit reminds me of another persistent question in the Peppa Pig fan club. Why do some animals behave so much like humans that we forget they're animals, while others act almost wild? Take the zoo employees, for example. The lion roars when he sees Madame Gazelle, and the crocodile was in the river instead of working. But beyond them, there are other examples, like Mr. Fox, who acts very mysteriously, always seeming up to something, and it's obvious that he almost devoured some chickens from Grandpa Pig's coop. And even though George and Peppa didn't understand that, we know deep down Grandpa knows you can't trust the neighbor. Bizarre. Another thing that confuses the entire Peppa Pig community is the moments when characters start crying. Of course, whenever any character feels sad in the show, it's really sad, but something really stands out in those moments. The thing is, they don't cry in a conventional way. Their tears go up. And we can see this in the episode where Richard Rabbit and George are playing, but have a disagreement and start crying. It's like their tears are garden sprinklers. That makes no sense at all. Speaking of things that make no sense at all, it's not just the tears that surprise us, as some very random tremors happen in this series. Have you noticed that when Daddy Pig walks, the ground shakes? Man, someone tell Peppa and her family that this is super random. And this mystery has never been explained in the series. And we can't even say that Daddy Pig is enormous since he has a body similar to many other adults in the town. When he's near other fathers in this universe, we can see that the animators drew them all very similarly, so I wonder why only Daddy Pig makes the ground shake when he walks. But it's not just the men who have these strange body details. Let's talk about Mummy Pig now. We know that even though they act like humans, the residents of this town are animals, so their bodies follow this logic. Madame Gazelle and Mr. Bull, for instance, have horns. So why is Mummy Pig's body so similar to a woman's and not a pig's? Yes, and we can see this when she's dressed more comfortably in a bikini. Now we have some great news for you, a true fan of the world's most famous pink pig from animated cartoons. We're introducing a channel where you can find absolutely everything about Peppa, the pig family, and all their friends and relatives. Don't waste any time. Subscribe now using the link in the description or point your camera at the QR code on the screen and start playing. I'll be waiting for you there. In Peppa Pig's universe, most people have jobs and we see their routines. They commute to and from home. But if there's someone who has so many jobs that I think she can't even go home to sleep, it's Miss Rabbit. She's the character from Peppa's universe who reminds me a lot of Larry from the amazing world of Gumball. A guy with so many jobs that there's an episode where he has an existential crisis, poor guy. Let's hope Miss Rabbit doesn't have the same routine, or she might end up just like Larry. Another character that stands out, but this time for his mysterious behavior, is Mr. Bull. You may have noticed that in many moments in the show, this character appears at school, but he doesn't have children. In some episodes, he even shows up fixing the place, like in the episode where Daddy Pig falls from the plane, but overall, he goes to the school for a reason that isn't mentioned in the series. So that's why we imagine the reason he goes to school is to see Madame Gazelle, as the two had a secret fling. But it's probably over now since Mr. Bull got married in the 2024 movie. And it's not just mysterious characters that fill Peppa's show, there are also names that make no sense. As we know, most of the town's residents have a name that matches their species. For example, Mr. Bull, Miss Rabbit, Susie Sheep, and many others. However, even characters from other countries follow this pattern, which is the case with Mademoiselle Le Pont. She is the pig family's French friend, so her name is in French. But the funniest thing is that the translation of her name is literally Miss Rabbit. And speaking of rabbits, it's impossible not to talk about the family that lives underground. While everyone else lives on hills, which is great because besides having a beautiful view, it ensures protection from floods, the rabbit family lives underground, in burrows, and it's so different for them to live in high places that Richard is afraid of stairs. Like, man, being afraid of stairs makes no sense. This makes me think that the rabbit family needs to get out of the house more often. I love Peppa Pig episodes, and even more, I love these super cool mysteries we uncover. We've got 2 really fun videos lined up for you, so you can keep enjoying great content with us. Just choose the one you like the most and click on it. Thanks, enjoy the video.